Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is Kneecap, right? Some people might not know who they are, I'll explain to you in a minute. Who have recently come out with a statement with all sorts of nonsense, and I'm here to show you where they're telling you complete and utter lies, alright? So, to give you a wee bit of background to this, if you don't know who they are, well, I think the way they dress and the things they do, they're a musical group that some of the youngins are into, right? I couldn't tell you one of their songs, and I have no ambitions to ever listen to any of their songs. Anyway, they were booked to play on the Friday night of the Transmit weekend in Glasgow in July the 11th, and there's been calls for them to be pulled. The simple reason was they made some announcement on stage saying that we should kill our local MP, right? And they have since came out with a statement, I believe it was yesterday, which is total nonsense, right? So I'm just going to read out the statement, then I'm going to show you and prove to you why it's riddled with lies, okay? So it says, Kneecap statement, they want you to believe words are more harmful than genocide. I don't think anybody is wanting you to believe that at all. However, establishment figures desperate to silence us. Silence somebody that nobody apart from a small percentage of the population in real terms actually know who you are, right? But apparently the establishment are trying to silence them. They've combed through hundreds of hours of footage and interviews, extracting a handful of words from months or years ago to manufacture moral hysteria. Let us be unequivocal. We do not, and this is the first big lie, and I'll show you why it's a lie later on in the video. We have never supported Hamas or Hezbollah. Please remember those words. We have never, unequivocally, ever supported Hamas or Hezbollah. We condemn attacks on all civilians, always. It is never okay. We know this more than anyone given our nation's history. They're Irish. We also reject any suggestion that we seek to incite violence against any MP or individual. This is the thing that people are pushing to have them banned from coming to Glasgow. And the very funny Leo Kearse, who is a comedian, is on GB News, completely blew that one out the water on their post, but I'll come to that in a minute. So what they're saying is, where do I get to? That we reject any suggestion that we seek to incite any violence against any MPs. Where the claim was, you got on a stage and said we should kill your local MP, right? But that was no suggestion there that would incite any violence towards anybody. An extract of footage deliberately taken out of context has now been exploited and weaponised as if it were a call to action. The distortion is not only absurd, it is transparent effort to derail the real conversation. All too much, and then we go the usual. We go from here to let's go over here and talk, right? Because I don't want to talk about that too much, right? 2 million Palestinian people are currently being starved to death by Israel. Right, I take umbrage with this one, right? Because this is crackers, right? It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to starve somebody to death. Right? If you really want to do it, lock them in a room. You'd need to be away for 2 to 3 weeks before we died. And that would probably be if you didn't get them water. If you just didn't get them food, if you didn't get them water, you'd probably kill them quicker. But if you gave them some water but no food, probably take 2 to 3 weeks, right? Now this war and this claim is that after the 7th of October 2023, over a year ago, nearly a year and a half ago, that Israel has blockaded food getting into Gaza. If that was the case, and they had a couple of weeks' supplies there to start with, we stopped giving them any food, you would all be dead within a month. Everybody. Well, that isn't the case. So nobody's been starved. So let's just screw them up, right? Anyway, 20,000 children in Gaza have been killed. The British government continues to supply arms to Israel, even though scores of NHS doctors warned Keir Starmer in August that children have been systematically executed. with sniper shots to the head. Anyway, to the Amos and Cox families, we send our heartfelt apologies. We never intended to cause you hurt. Now, this is the first bit where they've been telling lies earlier that have actually proven themselves to be wrong. Because, as Leo Kerr added, ha, you pussies apologised. So wait, subtle, right? But what he's saying is, you've actually apologised for doing something and then claimed that you didn't do it. That's got to be proper bizarre. That's proper potty, right? Where do we get to? Instead of defending innocent people or the principles of international law, the powerful in Britain have abated slaughter and famine. So they don't like Britain, right? And I think that's quite clear. And what they're suggesting by their introduction, that we know all about persecution and people who murder and all that because we're Irish and the bad British done that, right? One thing I kind of lose the plot with is, why are you here then? Why are you coming over here to do gigs if you actually hate the place? It's alright to come over and take the money. You sold out Barrowlands 2 nights in a row, I think, a year ago. Well, you were in Britain, right? But you hate Britain. Well, if I hated a country, I wouldn't go. Genuinely. Wouldn't set foot in it. Can't think of a country that I hate, but if I did, I would just not go to that country. So, I think you should take that wee bit of information from Uncle Craig and don't go. See that place that you hate called Britain? Don't visit it. Stay away from it. Oh, you sell loads of tickets. So the only reason you're here now, we went from these, cyber virtual signalling heroes to the truth. And it is, there's a buck to be made here, right? So stop the nonsense, stop all the virtual signalling. They're after a bit of coin. Let's just be open and frank about it, right? Then they claim Kneecap's message. Oh God, even when you picked your name, one of love, inclusion and hope, you called your group Kneecap, right? And no smear campaign will change that. Suddenly, days after calling out the US administration at Coachella to and solidarity, there's an avalanche of outrage and condemnation by the political classes in Britain. The real crimes are not in our performances. The real crimes are silence and complicity of those in power. Shame on them. Right. Now, here's the kicker, right? You've heard me talking about him before. Basil on Twitter, right? Parliament. He put up a video, and I'll just go and get it, of Kneecap at a recent gig. And here's the 10 seconds of that. Did you notice something? That's this group that, wait, I'll go back to their words. Oh, grab it. Kneecap. Let us be unequivocal. We do not and have never supported Hamas or Hezbollah. Staying up to date with events around the world can be difficult, where it's impossible to consult a single source for the full story. Narratives that shape public opinion often just reinforce media and corporate-backed vested interests. It's hard to know what information to trust. See what the media is exaggerating, sensationalising, over or under reporting. That's why I've been using Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that combines news from around the world in one place so you can compare coverage. For every news source, you can see if it has any political bias, how reliable the reporting is, and who owns them. They even have a blind spot feed that highlights news disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum. Take a data-driven view on the news and stay current. Get news from thousands of sources worldwide in one place. I've been using Ground News to help me get all the world's news in one place and give a more balanced opinion on what we read and viewing who is telling us the truth and who isn't. Subscribe via my link to get 40% off the Vantage subscription. It's the one I use to get unlimited access to every feature. Your subscription can not only help my channel, but also help Ground News, as it makes the media landscape more transparent. That's the same group, on stage, shown support by up Hamas, up Hezbollah, right? And they probably had a up Iran there as well for good measure, right? Because they're Irish Republicans. Why wouldn't you? Right? So, total bonkers, total bunkum, total bullshit, and total bollocks, right? And anybody that wants to believe that these people are some sort of virtuous champions, no, you're not. You're liars, and you're after a fast buck. Because if you really were not after a fast buck, you wouldn't set foot in a country that you so evidently hate. So do us all a favour, bolt. If you want others to see this video, please hit the thumbs up, comments, and hit the share button. If you're not already done so, please subscribe and hit the notifications bell to the channel. But most importantly of all, unless you're going to talk absolute bollocks to try and paint yourself as this saintly figures, when you're completely lying in your statement in almost every single line of it, no you. But
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.